Once upon a time a father and his only son lived in a small village. Even though they were very poor, they were happy. One day, when they were walking down the street, the boy asked his father, "Dad, how many stars are there in the sky?" "Good question. Get me a big sheet of paper," said the father. He took a pen and started making dots on the paper until there was no way to tell one dot from the next. "There are as many stars in the sky as there are dots on this sheet of paper," said the father. "But Dad, it is impossible to count all of them," said the boy. "Exactly," replied the father. Then they both laughed. The king of the country was passing by and overheard their conversation. He was impressed with the father's answer, so he went up to the man and said, "I'd like to invite you and your whole family to the palace to work for me." "Your Majesty, thank you so much, but I really have nothing to offer a king," said the man. "The way you answered the questions shows that you are a man of wisdom, and I could use a man like you," smiled the king.
Body language, a kind of nonverbal communication, is actually widely used all around the world. However, the meanings of the same gesture differ from country to country. It is therefore important for travelers to get to know the culture or taboo of a certain country before a visit to avoid confusion. Take the gesture of nodding one's head for instance. In most countries, the gesture itself means approval, yet in Bulgaria, the gesture signifies disagreement. Interestingly, in India, people tilt heads from side to side instead of up and down to suggest agreement, which grew out of the tradition of watching snake charming. Misunderstanding gestures can bring about much trouble or even offense. If you ever have the chance to travel to Greece, remember that the gesture of showing one's palm towards someone is taken as a very insulting one. While it is absolutely proper to wave people goodbye with an open palm here in Taiwan, it is never polite to do so in Greece. Hence, the proverb "when in Rome, do as the Romans do" makes a lot of sense and perfectly explains the importance of culture differences when it comes to body language.
Nearby Sun Moon Lake live the Tao, one of Taiwan's indigenous tribes. A legend related to long-haired spirits has been passed on to children of the Tao from generation to generation. It is said that long-haired spirits had lived at the bottom of Sun Moon Lake and shared fish with the Tao. However, the Tao fishermen one day found that their fishing nets had been seriously damaged, which led to the sharp decrease of the number of fish in them. A strong hero called Numa volunteered to find out the cause of it. To his great astonishment, a long-haired spirit was found to destroy the Tao's fishing net. A fierce fight between Numa and the long-haired spirit happened underwater for 3 days. During their fight, the spirit told him that human beings had been blinded by their greed to use small mesh nets to empty the lake of its fish. Both human and spirits were likely to die of hunger. After Numa heard that, it dawned on Numa that the lake had supported his tribe for generations. Therefore, the Tao decided to avoid catching baby fish and no longer used small mesh nets from then on. The Tao tried to live with harmony with nature and cherished the natural resources they had been blessed with.
In our everyday lives, we may run into problems, but most of us probably have no idea about how to solve them. In fact, with a little knowledge of basic science, we will find that some common items in daily use can almost work magic if they are used in the correct ways. Take sugar cubes, as an example. They can help to make the drinks sweet, but few people know that they have another function, keeping cookies crisp. Just prepare 2 jars of cookies and put several sugar cubes into one of them. 2 weeks later, you will be surprised to find that the cookies inside the jar with sugar cubes are crispier than those in the jar without them. How amazing it is! The truth is that sugar cubes can help to absorb moisture and stop the cookies from becoming soft. What's more, the same method can be used to store milk powder, peanuts, and so on. Another example can be found with citrus peel. Citrus peel is of great use to getting rid of the stains which are made by markers or correction fluid accidentally. The reason why citrus peel has such a dramatic effect is that the acid content from a citrus peel can break down the stains, and thus, make them easier to remove. As we can see, the tricks are not magic, they just show the science behind the simple things around us.